All right, guys, welcome back. It's me, Daniel, with VintageMagic.com, and we have two special celebrity guests. These guys, by the way, are Magic fans, D&D fans, gamers, all their lives. Kyle and Margaret. You guys actually had a radio show back in the day, right?
We did. Yep, the Six Siders. Went from, I want to say,
98, 99 to 2004.
Our first show was when the Mummy with Brendan Fraser came out.
Yep.
That was we did a review of that. Was the very first show we did.
Yeah.
And it went for
About 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it was
awesome.
terrestrial radio back in the day when that was the only option.
The only option.
There was podcasts. What are they? We don't know. We've never heard of such a thing.
Yes.
We were 2 stations short of getting syndicated.
Yep.
Now, the reason why they're here, guys, you guys came all the way from Salinas, California.
Yep.
Look it up, guys, near Berkeley.
No. Monterey.
Monterey, sorry. And they drove a long ways to meet with me for some weird reason. And so the reason why they're meeting with me is we're going to have a lot of videos, a lot of content about their collection. But I want to get their story first. We're in a hotel lobby. And funny story, guys. Don't ever go to extended stay America lobbies.
Oh, no.
It
Right
was shady. Shady. Yeah.
Yeah.
You might get robbed, at least. All right, so we're in a Marriott now. So here's what's happening. They have a collection that's insane. We have these boxes. They have a tub right over there. Yep. Well, those Costco bin tubs filled with 1,000 count or 600 count boxes, and they marked the sets. And I've already kind of previewed one of them. There was an unlimited box he marked that has unlimited cards that were in binders before. And I'm going to do my breaking analysis and look at what cards are gradable, appraisal, like I typically do. But this time we're going to take some tape and seal them. Seal each box. Sharpie. I'm going to sign every card. Just kidding, guys. That was part of the service. So, guys, as you know, I do a lot of appraisal, a lot of consignments. I'm being hired to do an appraisal, kind of go over authenticity, what cards are gradable, an overall evaluation of the collection. So maybe one day they could, maybe do some, dream home buying. You don't know?
Yeah, I was thinking to retire to the south of France. Sounded like a nice option.
Think of Margaret. Think of Margaret.
No France. No France.
Where would you want to go, Margaret? Ideally.
Ideally, well, there's a lot of places I want to visit. I don't know if I'd want to live in any of them. I'd like to go to the British Isles, Ireland, Scotland, because both of our ancestry is there. I'd love to visit New Zealand and do the Lord of the Rings tour.
Mother-in-law will love that. Exactly. Wow.
Yes, Ireland's a big one for my wife. She is very Irish with all the stereotypes that implies.
And you're thinking about also buying a house to get away from it all, from California.
Out of California.
Yeah. California it's still great, but it's less great.
just with more forest fires.
Forest fires, amongst other problems.
Yeah. So this is a great topic because we've been talking about to our on my channel about magic finance, investing, collecting, all the entire channel, about people are finally getting to a point where these two have a business that has no debt, doing very well, and they basically want to get on with their lives and make eventually have the freedom to kind of do what they want and travel. Maybe buy another home. That they have no kids, so that makes it easy.
1 dog, 2 cats.
It makes it very easy. So, guys, we're going to talk about this awesome collection. First off, let's talk about how did you get introduced to magic? That's the first question.
I think that was me. There was a game store in a shopping center close to where we live, and we used to go there and get our role-playing game books. And I went in once, and the fellow that we knew there, Jeff Huddleston, he says to me, "Hey, we got in this new game. It's a collectible card game. Are you interested?" I said, "I've never heard of anything like that." And he went, "Well, this is it." And he showed me some packs. And I said, "Well, give it a try. We're always looking for something, beer and pretzels on Saturday night." So I bought about 10 or 12 packs, and I think those were
probably unlimited.
Unlimiteds, yeah. And
Were they
Took
white
them
border
home.
or black border when you opened them?
God.
They would have been white border.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but that was the time period when we picked up the game. Was Unlimited was still being sold in the stores.
Yeah.
A beta booster pack, if you wanted to buy one, was probably $8-9.
Yeah. Yeah. They weren't.
What'd you
much.
say? $8-9?
$8 or $9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody.
'Cause
Are
he
you
had a
kidding
few.
me?
He had a few.
You know what? I'll take 2 at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I splurged. I bought 10 packs, brought them home.
10
we opened
packs?
them up and looked at the pictures and went, yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And so then the other guys in our gaming group went back and they bought their own. And we tended to go overboard and everything. So I said, hey, next time you get a box in,
Set aside 2.
set aside a box for us. And they did that. And then once we were hooked, we were hooked.
It's like MTG crack, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now-
That's
now-
what we called it.
Now, when you guys were hooked, what do you mean by hooked? Do you think it was the game? Do you think it was the camaraderie with friends?
Well,
all of the above?
We were always a tight social group of friends, so that when I hooked, they hooked, and it's been that way since forever. The game was really fun then. Of course, you got to understand, Legends had not come out yet. Okay,
Yeah.
it was down the road. They knew it was coming, but that's all they knew. Revised was probably out. We probably bought the last few packs of Unlimited. So the game was much simpler. I mean, there was no mana drain. The concept of the Weissman deck didn't exist. Didn't happen.
Weissman, who's that guy?
Yeah, I don't know. Stranger.
Brian Weissman was well known in that community, by the way.
Oh yeah. No, I played against him early on in at a school. He came down
in Salinas.
He came down to Salinas, and he played in a one of my friends, one of the people that is part of my core gaming group, ran a tournament at the local school, and he came down and played it a couple of times. In fact, I got into an argument with him about rules, and I won.
What was the argument about, by the way? So explain this one.
Okay, all right. Back when we played, the concept was that if there was a card that had protection from white, it was immune to balance, Wrath of God, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's not. And he was like, no. See, Weissman, I loved it. I can remember him to this day. He was going, what happens is this card scans the entire board and determines that these cards are invisible to balance. Can I swear? In your...
Yeah, I don't care.
I said, that's a bunch of horse shit. And I don't think Weissman knew that I was friends with the guy running the tournament. So I kind of had an inside track on whether or not I was going to have how the ruling was going to go. But we did submit the question to Wizards, and they came out on my side. So that ended
Really?
that.
So at that time, balance was considered, if you had COP white, or
If
protection from white,
protection from white, his belief,
like Black Knight.
like Black Knight or any of the Pump Knights would be immune to a balance or a Wrath of God.
Wow, everybody. But nowadays,
Not even at the end of that.
Yeah, it
just
changed.
shortly after,
Wow.
like 2 weeks after.
It's like
that.
all creatures or whatever. Yeah. Interesting.
But the game was simpler. I mean, nowadays, I've periodically looked at the various cards and I don't even understand the game anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
the banned list when we played was like 20 cards long. You couldn't play Channel. You couldn't play any of those cards. Banned.
Time Walk.
Time Walk. No, Time Walk was allowed.
Was it really?
Yeah, there was one that wasn't allowed. I don't remember of the time cards. I don't remember which one now.
Yeah.
But now there's people are talking about how they have one turn wins where they just win in one.
Right.
That never happened when we played. That was an impossibility. Your typical game went 20, 25 minutes, sometimes 30. And that's how long they took.
Wow. Unbelievable. All right, so let's do the next question. This is amazing, guys. You guys, we have so many damn questions I can ask. Okay, so
Go.
you guys bought these unlimited cards. I did take a peek on those ones because we were at Denny's, we were having breakfast, and there they are, duplicates of Power 9, dual lands, etc. How did you guys get into now? We're going to be going in your collection here about you have an alpha set, you have multiples of alpha. What happened there? So, Margaret, did you buy them, like the sets? Or?
I bought some of the beta packs I asked them to order them.
Beta boosters and
Beta
starters,
booster packs,
starters.
yeah.
We even had a beta
And
starter
we went to conventions back then.
Oh, okay.
And so what the conventions
Like
we'd
what
go-
kind? What kind are they? Gen Con or Origin?
Pacificon
Pacificon.
Okay.
and Dundracon.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'd go through the dealer's room, and the dealer room I discovered had tables of people selling Magic cards, and I went, hey, I haven't seen those in our store. And they're like, well, these are the old ones. These are alphas and betas. Oh, okay, give me a couple of packs.
Couple of packs?
Yeah.
You opened the packs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay, wait, hold on. Time out, guys, real quick. I'm not going to date these lovely people, but we had customers before. There was a guy who I bought a collection from. He was like retired from Pac Bell. He was about 30 or so at the time when Magic came out. So I want you guys to do some math here. When you're 30 or something, around there, right? 20s, 30s, you're able, not like me when I was a teenager at 14, you're able to buy, it's like $100 is still a lot of money. However, it's your entertainment or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's different. You guys made money. You guys made money. You could buy these packs, right? Mm-hmm. So you bought the packs at the conventions and go on.
Yeah.
You open them right there and just put them in your binder?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah. Put them in the deck.
Did you decide to make a sets right then and there? Or when that started?
Kyle is more the fella who went, let's see if we can collect a whole set. I was more about, I've got this theme deck. I've got an elephant deck.
She was
or I've
all
got
into
a
the
bug
themes.
deck. And I want this card because it fits the theme.
And War Elephants deck and what was some of the other ones?
The bugs.
The bug deck, the bees deck, which is where I think my drop of honey went.
Wow.
Probably.
Just lots of different things. So you like to make kind of theme
decks.
Yeah.
Well, if everyone makes competition decks and you're playing with your friends, how boring does that get real fast?
It's like guys like Brian Weissman. It's the same cards all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Weissman was actually not too bad. He would change his decks up, okay? He did not design... He figured out very rapidly at that school in Salinas that he could beat all the time if he just played the best cards. So he would change it up so that other people had a shot. It was pretty cool.
Now, so did you start, now back to collecting, you are the one that wanted to make the sets?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about how that started out.
Well, it started, I want to say with Legends, because we got in, when we literally bought boxes of Legends straight off the store. They would come into the store and we pre-ordered. So we had full sets of Legends early on. Margaret had her full set, I had my full set.
And Legends was tricky because they
It's a big
didn't
set.
produce many of them.
And then we, all of our friends had a full set. I mean, literally all 7 of us. Over the years, most of them got out of the game years ago, so they're all gone. And we had ours.
You just opened a bunch of booster boxes and made a set.
Yeah, we opened 4 or 5 boxes at a time.
There's 36 rares in a booster box. Legends has the largest set ever made by that point, like 312 or 27 cards. And rares were like 130 maybe, 120. So how many boxes do you think you open and even get everything?
Between all of us or just Margaret and I?
Well, yeah. How are you able to make a set? Did you just trade also some of the cards?
Okay. You want to know
I was going to say, you're going to open all those. Okay. Yeah, that'd be hard.
You want to talk about the stupidest trade I ever made?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was really interested in making a Sarah Angel deck. And I had this stupid artifact that absolutely had no value. It was 0 to cost. All it did was produce the same amount of mana as a land. What the heck do I care about a Mox Ruby or something? So I traded to my friend for a Sarah Angel.
Alpha or unlimited?
Revised. It was a revised.
Revised Angel for unlimited Mox.
Unlimited Mox.
What a great deal. Excellent.
He thought so too. He still has it. he may be calling you after this video, bro.
That's all.
And his cards are going to be in perfect condition. He never played.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you did the sets, and was it just kind of like you said, you ended up in your attic, literally?
Yep. The period in which I truly actively played, ended at Fallen Empires. We started actively playing when Revised and Legends was out. When we played all the way through the Legends period, through Dark, through Italian Dark, because that was a big thing at the time, and then Fallen Empires. And Fallen Empires was such a crappy set that we actually all got together, my friends and I, and we had Magic the Barbecue. I still have a box of the ash where we burned, I would say, 60, 70,000 Fallen Empires cards and cooked hot dogs over them. And we have pictures of us cooking hot dogs over a
Barbecuing marshmallows.
Yep.
Was Fall Empires that bad?
It wasn't.
We thought so.
The set was not great, but the problem was they overprinted. I mean, it went up until Fallen Empires, if you look, the cards had value. They were collectible even then.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Margaret was mad as hell when I walked in and I told her, I bought Mox Pearl for $50. And she's like, are you out of your mind? What the heck are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
And especially when I traded a Mox Ruby to a friend of mine for a Sarah Angel, I didn't exactly have a leg to stand on. But at that point, I was starting to really get into the idea of collecting full sets and storing them in binders. And I'd gotten out of the habit of playing them without sleeves because until Weissman showed up, we didn't know to play with sleeves. No one was doing it.
No one.
No one.
There's all about Weissman.
He shows up with cards and sleeves, and I remember somebody in the room going, you got to take those out. What are you doing? You can't shuffle with those. And he's like, yes, you can. Watch.
So how was Weissman back in the day? Was he kind of
younger? I saw the video.
Better looking.
I saw the video you showed me of the guy, and I'm like, wait, he had more hair. He's a cool guy. I mean,
So did we.
I
You
don't
have to meet. You have to come back and meet him. He is one of my best friends. He's obviously a legend in old school, but
He was kind of a legend then. We didn't know it at the time, but I mean, when there was another person there whose name shall remain nameless who copied his deck all the time, and so we always would call it his name's deck. And Bernie was the guy who said, you know, that's really not that guy's deck design. That's Brian Weissman's design. I'm like,
Oh, now how'd you guys hear about this? Back then, there's really no internet. Like
Well,
really good internet.
how did you hear? Word of mouth. Total word of mouth.
Yeah.
It's like there's a guy named Brian Weissman.
There were magazines out. I believe one of them was.
Yes.
What was there? Was a
Duelist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've still got it in the thing.
Okay.
They gave me an oversized Black
Chaos
Lotus.
Orb.
Oversized. No, there was an oversized Chaos
Yeah,
Orb.
yeah.
I've still got some of them. They would write up articles on some of the players, as I recall, but people just kind of word of mouth got around.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hold on a second.
Oh,
All right. So enough about talking about Brian Weissman because he gets too much. You know, he probably loves this. He's probably sitting there like, yes, I know. I'm good. He
wasn't that bad.
He was amazing. Well, what you will have to do is we'll have to have you play him when you guys come back again.
I designed a deck that could beat the Weissman deck.
All right.
I did.
You know what?
I don't know if it'd work anymore.
I'll tell you what. I will let you prepare for the next when we meet next time.
I'll need some of those back.
There's a weight room inside. There's a pool, and everything. You can start swimming, get some exercise, get ready. All right, so let's talk about kind of like what your like favorite cards are, what the journey of collecting the sets. Talk about like why you stopped at like a Tempest, Mirage. Why'd you guys stop there? Stuff like that.
You want to start?
Life got in the way, and we had a house payment that we didn't have when we started playing. Some friends moved away. Some had kids, and so they couldn't play card games on Sunday nights because they had to take the kids to whatever. I think my favorite cards were always the Nene
Thomas
cards.
was.
Yes.
Oh, I love those.
I have an entire page of
Divine Transformation.
Divine Transformation.
Great card.
And she
Great
signed
artwork,
one
great
of
artwork.
them for me.
Wow. Have you met her in person?
Yeah.
Oh,
She was at some of the conventions.
She's so awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that was my favorite.
Chaos Orb. I did the same thing that she did with Divine Transformations with Chaos Orbs. I had a whole sheet of them, and just it would lead off the front of my binder.
Do you know how to flip the card pretty well?
No,
Not anymore.
We didn't. It was an okay card. I played it a few times. I mean, but the problem was it was one of those cards, as I recall, that was at the time on the banned list.
Yes, they banned it at one point.
So
yes.
for me, it was just kind of a fun one to have. I had Alpha. It turned out I had 2 Alpha Chaos Orbs. I thought I had but one, but who knew? And I had an Alpha there, and then the one that made me mad though was I had a signed Black Lotus. And I was at Pacificon. We were in a D&D game, and I left
Set
the room,
the binder down.
set the binder down, and gone.
Oh man.
And I was so mad when I lost that card. Yeah, I don't know what the market is now for signed cards. At the time, it was actually would lower the value.
Yeah.
But I didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, a Black Lotus at that point was a $25 card. I was annoyed
Wow.
because I had his signature on it.
This is 93 or 94? About 94?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say, when was Legends out?
Yeah,
when it
94,
out.
right? 94.
94.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it was either 94 or early 90. No, if it was DenverCon, it had to be Pacificon had to be 94.
Right.
Had to be 94 because DenverCon would have been in February.
Yeah.
Right. So the game back in the day, was there like Magic finance or people cared about money, like making money off Magic as cards?
Beginning. Card stores.
Very
did.
beginning.
Card stores
Somewhat,
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
I watched one of the locals. That person I talked about, who shall remain nameless, just did dirty to one of the card stores. And he had an advanced list of what cards were coming out in Chronicles, and he went into the local card store and dumped all of those
Unloaded 'em.
cards and unloaded them. And that card store, I mean,
Wow.
this is before internet, guys. You couldn't just know. You had to have somebody who could tell you what the card set was going to be. And he wiped it. And that card store went bankrupt.
Wow.
They
Right.
bought all these cards they thought was going to be worth a fortune, and the following day
Chronicles came out.
they went to about 10% of their value.
Hence the reserve list. You guys heard about that?
What's the reserve?
Okay. So reserve list is what the fallout of Chronicles.
Ah.
So because of the reserve list, they no longer can reprint. It's a promise that Wizards will never reprint the cards on this list, like Black Lotus.
Ah.
Because of Chronicles, it diluted the value of the cards.
Yeah.
Thus, the reserve list kept the dual lands worth something. They don't
Okay.
reprint dual lands anymore.
No.
So that's interesting. That's what happened. It seems like that's when you guys quit, right?
Kind of.
Time.
We continue. All right, define quit. I mean,
Well, you stopped collecting
we
the sets.
stopped.
Yeah.
No, we kept collecting cards up through whichever is at later, Tempest or Weatherlight. I don't. They're
Sure.
further on. a
The
bit.
reserve list is Chronicles was 96 right there.
Yeah, no,
so it's right after. Yeah.
We continued to collect for a while, but we stopped truly playing at Fallen Empires.
Yeah.
That's when Fallen Empires came out. We used to have a reliable group of about 7 people every Friday night, and we would just play.
Wow.
And after that, it kind of stopped.
Yeah. I've heard this story in so many variations, many times, and everybody has that same type of story. Like Fallen Empires was like a cutoff. Mm-hmm. Very rare, and also, like you said, life gets in the way, Margaret. Right? Either you have kids or career. You guys started your own business.
That was us, yeah.
Almost immediately after you got married.
We had the business. I had the business before we were married.
Okay.
We were just boyfriend girlfriend at the time.
Got it.
But the business started to become, as businesses, when they first start out, it was an existing business.
Right.
Yeah.
So
We had like 3 employees.
You could kind of coast in the very early days, but then it started to take off, which would require more time. And, you kind of, all of a sudden I was working more nights, more weekends, and driving to the Bay Area. I live in Monterey County, so I driving to the Bay Area like 2 o'clock in the morning, like a lot.
Right.
So it became just time. I no longer had the ability to just play until 1 a.m. every single night.
Yeah. So right now your business has flourished, but at the same time now, we as business owners want to spend time just doing what we want, right?
Exactly.
Gaming and all that.
Yep.
So what would you do ideally if you could? Let's say, well, you have the business, you have managers who run it, right?
That's right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So you guys can kind of do what you want, but now, instead of other than traveling, all that kind of stuff, right? Would you go back to Magic and play games and D&D and all that stuff?
We still play.
We still do.
Okay.
We still do real play.
It's different now. Again, COVID has changed the nature of how it's done. We do a more. We're set in the process right now of setting up a telepresence
D&D is a
system.
mainstay. Will always be part of what you're gaming.
Or games like
yeah,
it.
games like
Yeah.
it.
Games
Role playing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But Magic and the card games,
No.
you never really got into it again, huh?
We loved another game similar called 7C. Owned 1,000 cards, but and I personally kind of thought it was a better game.
Okay,
But-
fair enough.
But it doesn't. It obviously a collectible. It is not.
Yeah.
Right.
So even that though, I don't see any real desire to go back to that type of environment. We like the role-playing games. We play computer games, playing Star Wars Online right now.
Oh yeah.
Friend of mine plays Fallout 4.
Oh, okay. So you guys play like the like League of Legends type games or Hearthstone? No.
I played Hearthstone for a while, but
Okay.
not
I couldn't get past the first level in Hearthstone. It was
Right. Games have evolved. It's like
Oh, yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
It's amazing how much gaming also affects your skill at understanding other games. I was playing a card game with my family up in this neck of the woods,
Right.
And they told me the rules, and within, I don't know, maybe about 20 minutes, I figured out the exploit to win this game that they've been playing for 5 years and hadn't figured out how to beat yet. I'm like, I don't need to do any of this. I can just simply stand back and do that and that and that, and I will win at the end of about 35, 40 minutes.
Right.
That's when they said, "Kyle, go home."
They actually told me that I couldn't play anymore. My own family kicked me out.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here in a second. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. So we have a few minutes to talk about, are there any memories that come into mind that made Magic so wonderful? Maybe it could be getting that one card you really wanted, or maybe you've met an artist you never met. Maybe travels you guys did, going to tournaments or different conventions. Anything you want to talk about? Margaret, you go first. How about that?
Beta counterspell.
Beta counterspell.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
had an entire collection of betas, and we couldn't find a counterspell for love or no money.
Save our lives. It was not, we couldn't find it. At that point, online sales existed. for
Brian
these things.
Weissman had all of them.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably it.
Them and the mana drains.
And I think it was Christmas or his birthday. I finally got a line on it and got him the beta counterspell.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well-
and I still have that card. At some
have
point,
it.
I sold my betas. Don't remember when, which is scary. But I remember specifically saying, this card is not for sale.
So by the way, you guys will see this. He has a duplicate alpha set. Now he has a complete alpha set with duplicates, Unlimited, Arabian Nights, Antiquities, duplicates, Revised, all the way up to Tempest. But there's no beta set. Is there beta cards?
There
There's
are a
like
few beta
few
cards
left.
that were
Okay.
mine.
Yeah,
But what happened? Did you sell them? You
I
said?
think I sold them at
At a
Pacificon
convention.
or DundraCon. I'm not sure which.
You don't remember?
It was years ago. I mean, it had to have been it was before my wife's hip surgery, so we're talking 2002,
Yeah.
2001, maybe before. It might have been in the 90s.
Yeah.
We were kind of done with the game. This guy offered us a bunch of money for it. You want to know the annoying thing? At the each of my binders, I took them out of the binders, but at the beginning, there were 3 booster packs that I had taped to the inside of the binder. And that one had 3 beta booster packs. He took all 3 of them. I don't remember what I got for him. But based on today's prices, I can tell you it was probably not enough.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything has changed. So as far as selling cards in the future, possibly, you wanted to keep possibly certain sets you love? Why? Why are those important to you guys? Why are sets?
You want to take this one?
Yeah.
For me, it was Legends.
So that was your favorite set.
Yeah, I always just loved the cards and the whole idea of you can play this card, but you have to have this and this and this and this to do it.
I totally agree. There's so many stuff that has to happen to cast those cards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think for me, it's the history of they represent a period of time. Okay, when there's the D&D period of my life. Okay, there's the Starfleet Battles period of my life.
Call of
Cthulhu, where I met my wife. Okay, there's the 7th period, the Champions period, and all of these represent a period of time. For instance, the Champions period of my life is where I met some of my closest friends, and it all cycles through. And Magic represents a period of time. It's like, would you ever want to just sell off pictures of your children when they were ages 5 through 10?
Right.
Okay, the answer is no.
Right.
If someone even offered you money for all of them, you never got them back. They were all gone forever. And maybe it's a lie, but you're like, can't I just keep some?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it is for me.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, guys. You're going to have to follow the videos. We're going to do this appraisal. I got a lot of work to do and a lot of videos to do. Next video, we're going to look at, we're going to show you the boxes. We're not going to open up the cards yet, but we're going to, again, sign the tape. And we're going to seal them up, and then these exact boxes will be in my little studio, and I'll basically film every single one, and we'll open them up and see what surprises we find. There might be Pokemon cards, 7 Seas cards, Star Wars cards, baseball cards,
Star Trek.
you know, the little stuff from the Las Vegas to kind of, you know, hit up that girl, the 1-800 little cards. You know what I'm talking about, guys? Who knows what's going to happen?
Any of those
Yeah. Well, you know, it's either a blonde, or what'd you say, or a
sports
car.
car.
Yeah, there's midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis. It's either a blonde or a car. Which is it?
But this is a great topic, because we're going to see what finally, you know, Kyle and Margaret finally decide what they're going to decide. Because ultimately, like, one thing I think I talked to them about was a lot of people are at a point in their lives where they're like, yeah, but now I can pass those cards on to the next player, collector, and then that journey goes on to them. And then I can, you know, obviously use the money to do new life experiences, right? Because ultimately, if something does happen, you're going to have to decide, right? Decide quickly sometimes, what do I do with these assets? We call them assets now. They're literally like assets, you know, like you know, like worth a lot of money assets. So that's going to be an interesting topic when we get into it. But guys, let's get right now. The next video is going to go into the boxes. Kyle, Margaret, thank you so much for your time. This is awesome, an awesome journey. Just the beginning of it. Wave goodbye, guys. All right, guys.
Bye.
See you soon. Hey everyone, it's Daniel Chang with VintageMagic.com. In this video, I want to run through our consultation service on VintageMagic.com. So what's really exciting to me about the consultation process is meeting you. I've met so many incredible people in the Magic the Gathering industry all over the world, and this consultation process is the key part to a successful working relationship. Getting hold of me is very simple. You could call or email me. We'll talk more about your needs. From all that information I gather in our call, typically about an hour long, I'm going to determine the best solution for you. So because we have such a suite of services that we offer, I'm going to sit down with a follow-up call, and then we're going to go off and determine what the best path is. I have experience in handling conversations in regards to large collections of artwork, sets of cards, either if it's graded or ungraded, raw cards. I also have dealt with collections with lots of misprints and oddities. Altered cards, sketch cards, and artist proofs are also one of my specialties. My experience in Magic Gathering has gone to any level of collecting you may have. I look forward to working with you.
Vintage Magic. Game, collect, invest. For more information about our consulting and professional services, visit VintageMagic.com.